Let me start with the question that many Christians are afraid to say out loud. How do I get out of debt without losing my faith or my family? Because the truth is, debt doesn't just attack your bank account, it attacks your peace, your sleep, your marriage, your parenting, and eventually your faith. You love God, you try to do the right thing, you work hard, and yet every month feels like you're drowning. Bills pile up, credit cards scream for attention. You you argue more at home, you pray less, not because you don't believe, but because you feel ashamed. If that's you, let me say this clearly. You're not a bad Christian because you're in debt. You're not a failure, and your story is not over. Today, we're going to talk honestly, not spiritually fake, not motivational fluff, but real life. We'll connect the real financial pressure you're under, biblical wisdom that actually works, and practical hope you can apply starting today. Stay with me because freedom is possible and it doesn't require losing what matters most. Most people think debt is a math problem. It's not. Debt is an emotional and spiritual pressure cooker. Proverbs 22:7 says, "The borrower is slave to the lender." That word slave isn't poetic, it's descriptive. Debt tells you where you can live, what job you can take, when you can rest, how much peace you're allowed to have. And here's what makes it worse for Christians. You feel guilty for being stressed, you feel weak for worrying, you feel embarrassed asking for help. So instead of dealing with it, many believers do this: ignore statements, avoid conversations, hide purchases, delay reality, and debt grows in the dark. Let's be honest about what debt does inside a home. Debt creates arguments over money, tension over small purchases, blame between spouses, fear passed down to children. Many marriages don't break because of infidelity, they break because of financial pressure. One spouse feels controlled, the other feels irresponsible. Both feel unheard, and kids feel it too. Even if you never say a word, they sense the anxiety. Money problems don't stay in your wallet, they leak into your relationships. Let me tell you what the Bible actually says about money. And not and this is not what people assume. The Bible talks more about money than almost any other topic, not because God is obsessed with finances, but because he knows money competes for us for our trust. Matthew 6:24 says, "You cannot serve both God and money." Notice it doesn't say you cannot have money. It says you cannot serve it. Debt becomes dangerous when it dictates your decisions. It replaces peace with panic. It replaces prayer with fear. God's concern isn't your balance, it's your heart. Now, faith doesn't mean ignoring reality. Some Christians think faith means pretending things aren't bad. That's not faith, that's denial. Biblical faith faces reality with God, not without Him. Luke 14:28 says, "Suppose one of you wants to build the tower. Won't you first sit down and estimate the cost?" Jesus himself teaches budgeting. Faith doesn't cancel wisdom. Prayer doesn't replace planning. If you want out of debt, the first step is honesty, not condemnation, honesty. Let's talk about the dangerous lie. Once I make more money, things will get better. Here's a hard truth. Income rarely fixes debt problems. Habits do. Many people who earn more spend more, borrow more, stress more. The Bible calls this contentment. First Timothy 6:6 says, Godliness with contentment is great gain. Contentment is not settling, it's clarity. It's knowing what matters and protecting it. Let's talk about some practical steps now that lead to real freedom. Now, let's get very practical. Step number one, stop hiding from the numbers. You can't heal what you won't face. Write everything down: total debt, interest rates, monthly obligations. Clarity reduces fear. Step two, talk openly with your spouse, not to accuse, not to panic. Say this: I don't want money to destroy us. Unity matters more than speed. Ecclesiastes 4:9 says, Two are better than one. Step 3, create a simple, realistic budget. Not punishment, alignment. A budget tells your money where to go instead of wondering where it went. Step number 4, cut quietly, not emotionally. Freedom requires sacrifice, but not forever. Temporary discomfort is better than permanent stress. Step number 5, seek wise counsel. Proverbs 15:22 says, Plans fail for lack of counsel, but with many advisors they succeed. Christian financial counseling is wisdom, not weakness. Let's talk about giving when you're in debt. This is wisdom, not guilt. This is sensitive, so listen carefully. God honors generosity, but he does not honor manipulation or guilt. Giving should never destroy your family. Second Corinthians 9:7 says, Each of you should give what you have decided in your heart to give, not reluctantly or under compulsion. God is not impressed by anxiety driven generosity. He desires faith, obedience, and peace. Let's talk about now when debt shakes your faith. Some of you feel distant from God because you're overwhelmed. You wonder, why hasn't God helped yet? Did I fail him? Is this punishment? Let me say this clearly. Debt is not proof that God has abandoned you. Many faithful people in Scripture faced lack. Joseph in prison, Elijah in famine, the early church under pressure. God's presence is not proven by comfort, it's proven by faithfulness. Let's talk about now protecting your family while you fight for freedom. Your family needs your presence, your peace, and your leadership, not perfection. Your kids don't need luxury, they need stability. Your spouse doesn't need blame, they need partnership. Deuteronomy 6 talks about teaching children daily, not impressing them. Freedom from debt is usually slow, uncomfortable, and worth it. But every step builds momentum. Galatians 6:9 says, Let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest. Faith plus discipline leads to freedom. I want you to have this clear. You can win this fight. Let me leave you with this truth. You don't have to choose between financial freedom and your faith. You don't have to sacrifice your family to fix your finances. God is not asking for perfection, He's asking for obedience, humility, and trust. Start small, start honest, start together, and let God walk you out step by step. Now, if this message spoke to you, share it with someone under financial pressure. Make a comment. I'm choosing freedom. And subscribe for more real faith based conversations about life, money, and purpose. You're not behind, you're not forgotten, and freedom is closer than you think.